Welcome back to our podcast. If you are new here, I'm your host, Shifa. And we are very excited to have Smita Ramesh, an experienced, certified nutritionist, and she will be taking us through whole life journey of women. So, whether you are teens, having your first cycle, a new mother, or even if you are going through a menopause, or even if you are a man and consuming this episode for the one you love, your mother, your sister, or your wife, this is for you. Here we go. Welcome, Smita.
Hi, Shifa. Thank you so much for having me here. It's a pleasure.
So, Smita, tell me something about your journey as a nutritionist.
So, Shifa, I've been a nutritionist for 20 years now. And being in the field of health education means you need to know what is happening in the field of nutrition. So that made me do a lot of certifications. I've got my masters, I've got my diplomas. And you need to know what is currently trending because we are living in the age of internet where everybody comes with Google knowledge.
Right.
So we need to know what is happening in the field of nutrition and diets. So that has been my journey till now.
What inspired you to become a nutritionist?
So it's always, food has always been interesting for me, and I realized it is very easy to eat healthy. However, people around me used to complicate it more than it is necessary. Either it is good foods or bad foods, tasty food and not so tasty foods, and always it was assumed that healthy foods are not very tasty.
Right.
So I used to always wonder why are people getting so confused and complicating something that is as simple as eating a balanced meal. So that got me into the field of health education, and I've realized that no two age groups can be addressed together. They have their own concerns. So whenever we are speaking to college goers, they need a different way of approaching the matter. While when we are talking to the mothers, there is a different approach that we need to adapt. So as I spent more number of years in health education, I realized that I really enjoy it, and I started studying more in the field of nutrition.
So let's start our episode about women's life cycle. So what do you think? From what stage does gender starts mattering from nutrition perspectives?
So the development starts from around 8 or 9 years old itself. So we generally tell parents or caretakers to start concentrating on the nutrition because sexual development and then there's growth spurt. All that starts from the age of 8 to 9 years.
From 8 till 9?
Yeah, around 8 to 9 years it starts off, and it goes on till puberty sets in, and then afterwards the challenges are different.
Okay, does it depends on genetic also?
Sometimes.
Or the lifestyle and all?
Sometimes it does. Previously, the age of puberty or the menarche, since we are talking about women's health, the menarche used to be around 15 or 16 years old. But with every passing decade, the year of menarche have advanced. So nowadays we have children as young as 9 years and 10 years having their first period. So the years have changed over the past 3-4 decades.
So as a parents, what all food, especially they should, focus on because their daughter is having their first cycle?
So once the girls have their menarche, it's a very tender age, and they are already overcome by a lot of changes. There will be growth spurts. They suddenly experience that their body is undergoing a lot of physical changes, emotional changes, mood swings, in which case we normally tell parents to prepare the children in advance of what's going to come. They know that the girls in the class are having menarche around 11-12 years, and if your child is already in the age group of 10, prepare them mentally. It makes it a lot easier. Then get them to start eating healthy much before menarche actually happens. Now, how do you get them to eat healthy? Monkey see, monkey do. So which means that You cannot tell the child to eat healthy while you're eating unhealthy. So which means that when you know that your child is around that pubertal age, you will have to bring about the changes in the entire household. Everybody needs to be eating healthier, balanced meals. That way, the child is most likely willing to be making those extra changes that she needs to be making. We always emphasize on iron-rich foods, folic acid-rich foods, more of green leafy vegetables, healthy proteins, nuts and seeds, dairy if it suits them, complex carbohydrates, and also the concept of portion control is something that you need to include and imbibe in them as early as possible. So that is what how we guide the parents during pubertal age.
But what we as a parents, we can also relate when we were teens. During especially our first cycle, we always want to eat that ice cream, chocolate, that give us different type of comfort. We don't want to eat that spinach and that iron-rich food and all that. We tell you. So how can we, now we are parents, how can we tell our daughter that, no, this is good for your hormones now, this is not good? How can we do that?
So one thing we tell parents to do is establish the norm. So eating healthy should be the norm. And the deviation is the occasional treat or the weekend partying or the weekend outing wherein you get to eat your favorite foods. When you don't establish the norm and the deviation, that is where the problem lies. Because the children are not able to understand what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. Now, when it comes to the children wanting to eat something sweets, we always advise the parents to keep healthier sweet options at home always.
Give one example.
Yeah, people think eating healthy and nutrition starts in the kitchen, but in fact it starts at the supermarket.
Okay.
Make sure that you're shopping for the right stuff at the supermarket. Make sure that your pantry has healthy fats, nuts, seeds, dates, figs, raisins. When these options are available for a child, whenever they decide to eat healthy or whenever they want to reach out for something crunchy or they want to eat something sweet, they know that these options are available. But if you're making the wrong choices at the supermarket, you have a pantry filled with your chips, your junk food, your pastries, your cupcakes, and then you want your child to eat healthy and make a choice of choosing a date over a cupcake. Now the child is after all 8-9 years old.
Yeah.
So they gravitate towards something that they are familiar with. So number one, establish what's the norm, what's the deviation. Number two, stock up your pantry wisely. Number three, the entire family needs to eat healthy.
Okay.
During this period, the entire family needs to eat healthy.
So during this stage, does lack of sleep affect hormones?
Yes. They have actually studied. There are many research papers which prove that irregular sleep timings and lack of sleep, no restorative sleep for girls in pubertal age does affect their hormone levels, because at that age there is a lot of demand on the body. There is a lot of energy demand on the body. There are a lot of changes which are happening, and good restorative sleep is needed to deal with it. So as much as possible, we tell girls in that age group, that is around 10 to 15. It's a very difficult age group for them to, that they don't want to sleep early.
Yeah.
They want to do the doom scrolling. Everything that they want to think and write and study, everything they will want to do in the night.
Yeah.
But we generally, when they come to us, we are able to explain to them that their body is undergoing a lot of transformation. So they will need to make sure that they're getting sufficient sleep, And if during weekends, weekdays, they do not get sufficient sleep, during weekends, we ask them to compensate for it, so that the body has enough rest, and it allows them to recuperate faster.
Okay. So you mean during this stage, healthy diet and good sleep both are equally important.
They go
right?
hand in hand.
Yeah.
They go hand in hand to make a girl have very comfortable period.
Okay.
So movement, good health, and good sleep. These are the three pillars on which a good period is dependent on.
So moving on from our first cycle, we are moving to now 20 plus. Okay. Now during this stage, everyone, whether you are a male or female, you want to lose weight, doesn't matter the gender. But we are talking about female, so we will give all importance to us only. Okay. So what happened when we want to lose weight? We see the diet chart and everything. That tells us like you have to eat this much portion of protein, this much portion of carbs and the fiber and other all thing, It becomes like a maths equation. And I want to know from you, like without solving this maths equation, how can we eat healthy and lose weight, of course?
So 20 to 30 is a very interesting age. A lot of things happen. Children are graduating, they're joining their jobs, some of them are getting married. Many people nowadays are spending a lot of time traveling during this time because they have the time and the energy. So now when amidst all this, there's a lot of partying, there's a lot of socializing during this 1 decade. So how do you manage to stay healthy? So simplify it. Very simple, without looking at it as a maths equation, like you said. Follow the sun is what I tell my clients. Eat as early as possible and finish your eating window as the sun sets. So this is a sure shot because you can do everything right, but if your dinner is late, invariably you will land up with a lot of health related issues, and your struggle with weight loss becomes all the more difficult. So fix your dinner first. Try as much as possible to finish dinner as early as possible. It is understandable. We are in an age wherein there are a lot of people who are working late into the night. But I always tell my clients, finish your main meal by around 6 p.m., 6 to 7 p.m. If hungry, then later on you can have something light, which is not as big as your dinner. But you do not have to go to bed hungry, but you will not be at the same time taxing your organs with a very big meal. So try this, and then comes your meal composition without looking at it as a proportion, without looking at it as a maths equation, as you said it. Just ask 3 questions. Where's my fiber? Where's my protein? How much of carbs I'm taking? Because we are all very efficient in taking our carbs.
Carbs, yeah.
Because that is where we reach. We will not compromise on that. The other 2 questions need to be asked as to where is my protein, which is the protein source I am getting in this meal. And then comes your fiber. Fiber is needed at every meal as much as possible. Try to make sure that each meal is balanced in some way. You don't really have to follow a very rigid proportion, but try as much as possible to put effort into balancing it.
But though after solving the maths equation, doing very hard work, and we are losing weight, but then also it tends to come back like our excess. So how can we maintain it?
We have seen a difference in the willpower among our clients when they want to lose weight for an event or for a wedding or for that one party, and they want to wear that one dress. They have a lot of willpower. But once the event is over, they just let go completely. So as much as possible, we tell people that try to go in for a weight loss. Whenever they're going in for a weight loss program, there is an active weight loss period. After that, try as much as possible to do the maintenance. So in the maintenance, you're not completely letting go. At the same time, you're not being as strict as you want to for the particular event wherein you have used all your willpower, and you don't feel restricted. So what we tell them is, there are 3 meals in a day, 7 days in a week. So totally around, you're looking at around 21 meals in a week. So try as much as possible, 17 to 18 meals, try to have them healthy. And the remaining 3 or 4 meals you don't
meals.
have. You can just let go of all the dieting concepts, and you can enjoy your meals, because for some people it is necessary for them to feel that they can eat without thinking.
Yes.
So for them, we tell them, keep it to that ratio. Then you will be a lot more comfortable.
It will be easy to maintain.
It will be easier to maintain, and the weight does not really come back all of a sudden.
Okay.
After the diet is over.
So what does anti-aging means from nutrition perspective?
Yes, nowadays everybody started concentrating more on anti-aging foods as early products rather than foods. They have started concentrating on from as early as 20s. It's a good thing that we set the ball rolling from when you're in 20s. So which means that you need to be making sure that you are eating healthy from when you're in 20s, and then when you move on to 30s and then into your 40s, when actually aging happens. So you develop healthy eating habits and make sure that you are eating foods which nourish your tissues. After all, what is aging? It is the change that you observe in your tissues. So for that, you will need to make sure that you're nourishing it inside out.
Yeah.
Yes. So make sure that you're eating healthy. Eat a variety of foods as much as possible, whether you're choosing carbohydrates, whether you're choosing proteins and fiber, whatever it is. Make sure you're choosing from diverse sources. Don't eat the same things every single day. There are many micronutrients, vitamins, minerals. The profiles differ from one fruit to another fruit. Similarly, your proteins, they differ from, the nutrition profile differs from one protein source to another. Try to keep them as diverse as possible. And one more aspect I would like to bring into consideration is, you know what are the foods that are anti-aging. That is your antioxidants, your fresh fruits, your vegetables, your good proteins sources which you make sure that you eat. But you also need to know what are the foods which increase aging.
Okay.
So many people assume that as long as they're having their ABC juice, that is a very popular, this one's apple, beetroot, carrot, that is an anti-aging juice. Many people are very fond of it. But you need to understand that the aging foods also play an important role. Your highly processed foods, your sugary foods, fried foods, overindulgence in more of protein foods which are not cooked under hygienic conditions. All those go a long way in determining how you age. So just because you're having an anti-aging drink does not give you the assurance. You will need to consciously minimize your aging foods also and reduce it to a minimum. Cut out processed foods, cut out junk foods, aerated drinks, sugary drinks. All these increase the rate at which you can eat.
Food like which are giving us aging.
Yes.
Neither seeing that which are
Rather
anti-aging
than
food.
anti-aging, yes.
Yeah.
So you need to be aware about what a particular food item does to your body.
Yeah.
Does it nourish? Yes, then it is good to go. Is it more for the tongue? Then you will need to use a little prudence and see how much you can indulge in that.
You know, nowadays we hear a lot about these things like PCOS, PCOD and thyroid. These all are becoming very common. Why is it so?
So there are multiple reasons. There is no one size fits all that we have seen, but there seems to be a shift with regard to physical activity, the kind of meal composition which people are able to follow, And also in some of the cases it is genetic. They are genetically predisposed to certain health conditions. So what we can probably do is try to see as much as possible, do a management of our diet. It cannot be really cured as such, but it is more to do with management. As long as you're able to consult a nutritionist and follow the nutritionist advice, because nutritionists would generally be able to pinpoint exactly what could be the underlying reason for a person to be getting that condition. So as long as you're able to do a management of both your lifestyle and your food habits, you should be able to keep it in check.
So, do you mean like these three things are for lifelong? It can be managed, but it cannot be fully cured.
So many people assume that, especially when it is for thyroid, they start taking the medicine and then they do not make any changes to their lifestyle. In which case, there will be no improvement in their condition. Even the same thing is applicable whenever there is a PCOS case. We do suggest lifestyle modifications. We do suggest diet modifications. If the client does not go through with it and thinks that a pill can fix it, then they are mistaken, because it really, everything goes hand in hand. It is lifestyle modifications, diet modifications, physical activity to a large extent, and of course, wherever needed, a medical intervention will be needed, in which case they will continue with that also.
So it can be managed.
It is more about management. It is about management, and keep it to always be in touch with your doctor, so that he can guide you and adjust the dosage in such a way that you can be put on a minimum dose, and then if need be taken off. But you don't take an independent decision of withdrawing your medication just because you have made your lifestyle modifications. It has to always be on consultation with your doctor.
And one more thing, doing all these three things, women tends to gain too much of weight, and they think like, because I am having thyroid, I will gain weight. I can't lose weight. So is it like that?
No, in which case they will be doing something wrong. As much as possible, I always suggest, if you are eating healthy and if you're not losing weight, or if you feel that your metabolism is very slow, then try to get your blood work done. And before getting the blood work done, visit a nutritionist. She or he will be able to guide you as to what are the tests which needs to be done, because you could be having water retention, which is due to some of the nutritional deficiencies that you have. If you're anemic, you will be having water retention. If you are D3 deficient, you will be having water retention. So there are many reasons for which you would be retaining water, and it is not because of excess calories. So to assess that, try to visit a nutritionist, and she will be able to guide you accordingly.
Now, is it true that after 35, bone density and muscle mass both tends to decline in women's body? So does the pregnancy should happen before? Is it healthier?
So yes, ideally, when we see pregnant women who are in the age group of, say, 25 to 30, 35, they are in better nutritional status. Yes, definitely. But if you are talking about pregnant women who are above 35, in which case we concentrate more on prenatal health, make sure that the nutritional status is brought up substantially before conception.
So we as a woman, what dietary changes we should do in our diet when we are planning for pregnancy?
So as of now, what is being followed is, the woman gets the pregnancy test done, it comes out positive, then they start taking care of themselves. When it comes to nutrition and diet, what we advise is, the man and the woman both need to start making the dietary modifications at least 6 months before you plan on conceiving.
Okay, you mean before conceiving we should plan the diet?
Yes, and
Okay.
an overlapping period, it should be around 6 to 8 months. Why do we suggest it? Is because it just simplifies pregnancy and makes it less stressful for the woman. The chances of complications during the 9 months can be minimized substantially when both of them have started eating healthily much before the pregnancy even has begun. So, as much as possible, there is a kind of a briefing which we do for the couple, that invariably they come to us after the test is done.
Positive.
But, yes, but we advise them when they plan to have their next child. We tell them try as much as possible to come to us 6 months in advance, so that we can start preparing in advance. Make sure that the right kind of nutrients is given, make it a lot easier for the woman to transition, because she will already have the firstborn to take care of. So, which means that energy requirements also will be more. So, 6 months to 8 months before pregnancy is when we suggest for the dietary modifications.
So, what all foods she should focus on? Like once she had conceived, now the 9 month is there. So during this 9 month, what all foods she should focus on?
So as much as possible, try to have balanced meals with emphasis on green leafy vegetables, good quality protein. If you're a non-vegetarian, try to make sure that you're getting the right kind of meats or eggs. If you're able to tolerate dairy, then try to see if you can get your dairy sources like your milk, yogurt, cheese, that is provided you're able to digest it. If you're a vegetarian, then make sure you're having a variety of legumes and pulses, variety of dals, paneer, nuts and seeds. That is one thing which most people forget about.
So Smita, we had planned for pregnancy and now congrats, we had conceived. So now during this 9 month of our pregnancy, what all food we should focus on so to maintain our healthy diet?
So, along with pregnancy comes varying appetites and the issues which you normally wouldn't have had, like your morning sickness, your evening sickness. As much as you have to eat healthy during that time, many of the women have this sickness which doesn't allow them to eat healthy.
Right.
Some
that smell and all, yeah.
Some smells can put them off. Some sounds can put them off. We have heard of cases wherein loud noises used to make the person very nauseate and not able to eat. So in that case, we always advise them to break up your meals. Now, normally you would probably be having 3 meals in a day. That's your morning breakfast, your lunch in the afternoon, probably evening a fruit or something, and then dinner. But once you've conceived and once you know that you have had this issue with feeling nausea, then in that case we tell them to break it down. Break down your breakfast into 2 parts, so that one you can have it as early as possible and a small portion will not trigger your nausea. Then somewhere around midday you can have the other portion, so that again you are not having big meals at one time and don't feel uncomfortable. Of course, your lunch, eat whatever you can eat. As much as possible, try to make sure that you're eating green leafy vegetables, folic acid rich foods, your beans, your legumes. If you're non-vegetarian, try to have your proteins as much as possible. Fiber, variety of vegetables that you can have in cooked form, in raw form, whatever you're comfortable with. And evening, try to keep a small snack It could be probably, fistful of nuts, nuts and seeds, your granola bars made out of nuts and seeds, homemade ones preferably. During the first 3 months, especially for my clients, I normally tell them to go easy on raw foods or even foods which are highly processed. Mainly raw foods is mainly I want to just cut down the chances of infection as much as possible. So cooked foods are always good.
Better option.
Better. You play it safe for the first 3 months. And fruits are a good way to make them feel less nauseous. So then comes your dinner. Try different ways of eating the same food. So some people do not want to have their roti and dal and their
that's
sabzi.
boring food. Actually.
Yeah, typically your roti and a bowl of dal and some vegetable. In which case, try to make probably a tangy chutney or a coriander chutney or a mint chutney. And the same chapati can be made into a kati roll. Which they might be comfortable eating, surprisingly. So that will also improve their nutrient density because they're able to eat a good meal composition. So pay attention to each meal. Make them balanced and make it smaller. Yeah, make it smaller and make it tasty. Especially if the woman is feeling nauseous, then try to see if you can make it to the taste that they like, the spices that they like. Probably then they are able to stomach it better.
Hey Smita, now congrats. Our newborn arrived at home. So, now again the problem is that the lactation and the weight gain. Whatever weight we had gained during that 9 months, we want to lose that, and on the same time, like, we want to feed our baby also. We don't want to compromise any of them. So how can we do, balance them both? We can lose weight also and we can feed our baby also.
So the journey of pregnancy is around 9 months.
Yeah.
So you should give your body a little bit of time for it to get back to shape because it has expanded so much. And there is not only expanding, it is about recovery. You are healing from inside and there's recovery happening. So during that time, concentrate as much as possible only on the lactation, because your newborn depends entirely on you for its feeds, and they need frequent feeds during the first few months, and eat continuously throughout your pregnancy and post delivery also. Try to make sure you're having balanced meals. Emphasis on green leafy vegetables is inevitable. Emphasis on good quality proteins, your complex carbohydrates, your minerals, vitamins through your fruits and vegetables. Your nuts and seeds play a very important role during this time. So, and there is the added pressure of avoiding the laddus. The laddus, which are an integral part of Indian culture, the postpartum laddus and the snacks which are specifically prepared for postpartum. There is a lot of wisdom in that, but you'll need to know in what quantity you'll need to be taking. Just because it tastes good doesn't mean you need to overindulge. It has a purpose, and try to make sure that you are eating these foods at the right time, not preferably during the first half of the day rather than late at night, when it becomes difficult for your body to digest such heavy calorie snacks. And like I said, make sure that you're eating nutrient dense and balanced meals throughout pregnancy and postpartum, and you will get back to shape within no time.
So, talking of food, is it like having more of milk can solve our lactation problem?
Not really. It's understood by many that cow's milk translates into mother's milk. More than that, it is the hydration which is necessary. It is one thing which we keep emphasizing to women who are feeding, especially in the first month, because they're not gotten into the habit of hydrating themselves every time they feed. Most of the lactation experts will tell you that every time you sit down to feed your baby, first you will need to drink 1 glass of water at least, because you will be losing liquids to that extent when you're feeding the baby. So apart from that, yes, a balanced meal is necessary. So let me put it like this. When you want to make a building, you are not just looking at just taking only one of the items to make the building.
Yeah.
There are a whole lot of items, like you have your cement, you have your iron rods, you
Full
have
package we need.
the mud, and so it's not, and you're building tissue. You're making whenever there is an involvement or there is building of something or restoration, especially in this case, you are not only making milk every 3 to 4 hours. Your body's needs need to be taken care of also. So, in which case, balanced meals will ensure that your lactation is good. At the same time, your energy requirements are also met.
So what do you say? Like after 30s, we tends to lose muscles. So is it like we have to do strength training, or it's okay to do like yoga and walk will be equally fine?
If you are 30 plus or 40 plus, in that age group, as much as possible, we suggest that you include a small element of strength training, because there is a little bit of a decline in your muscle mass. Now, walking alone would probably not be sufficient, or yoga, if you're able to do it under the guidance of a trained yoga teacher, they are able to guide you depending on the age group that you are on. So, in which case it would help, but a mix would be probably the best, where out of 7 days, you're doing strength training at least for 3 or 4 days, a couple of days of walking and a couple of days of yoga. I think a mixed bag would always be good.
Good, okay. And nowadays, these teens, they started this heavy workout during that age only. So what do you suggest? They can have the protein powder and all. Is it okay for them?
So it depends on what the teen is doing. So we have a lot of athletes who are teens, and they are participating at a competitive level. So in which case, it is usually under the guidance of a nutritionist that we suggest powders which are suitable for them. That could be homemade protein powders, or it could be a protein powder which a teen of that age group can have. But a teen who is just going to college and coming back, or school and coming back, and not really spending too much time on outdoor activities, and just taking a protein powder off the shelf just to build muscle, then they need to be a little careful. As much as possible, try to visit a nutritionist or consult a nutritionist. They'll be able to guide you accordingly and tell you the advantages or disadvantages of a particular protein powder.
So now, as we are talking about powder, so how can we forget collagen powder? So, nowadays females start to take this collagen powder from the age of 25 only. So is it good, or is it will affect our hormones?
As much as possible, try to consult a nutritionist and see whether you do need it or not. In some cases, yes, this is more applicable when during menopausal stages, wherein we see women who are experiencing extreme pain in their knees or in their joints. in which case they are not able to digest and assimilate food efficiently, that it can attend to their pains, joint pains, in which case collagen is suggested. And that all these supplements, whatever is suggested, is usually for a short period of time. It should not be that for years together you're taking collagen. So likewise, if somebody who is not falling under the menopausal bracket, where like you're saying 20s and
Right.
early 30s, you really need to see, is it so difficult for you that you are not able to get it from your natural sources, that you have to resort to collagen powder, and then try to see which are the clean brands which a nutritionist will be able to suggest, because there are a lot of brands out there, protein, whether you're talking about protein powders, supplements, or even medications to a large extent, wherein they are adulterated. There are a lot of fillers which are added. Now, it becomes a problem because everything has to be routed through your liver, and you're taxing the liver. So, which means you need to understand whether you're benefiting from it or you're getting more damage, and whether you're damaging the only organs that you have.
So is it important, like after 30s, as a woman, we should have particular supplements we should include on our, in our daily life?
The usual culprits are
Like they say
D3
calcium,
deficiency.
D3 and all
Yeah,
that.
D3 deficiency, iron levels in some women tends to keep dropping, which means that they will need a few months of iron supplementation, then we stop it, then we will monitor it and see whether it continues to drop, in which case we will advise them again. So there are a few certain parameters which need to be monitored. If you're predisposed to having a deficiency due to some reason, in that case you will need to have a supplement. Otherwise, I don't think you'll need to self-medicate and just pop in supplements because you're of a particular age group.
Oh.
So we do see overdose of supplementation many a times. So you need to always see whether you need it. Second is it not possible for you to get it from your natural sources, from your food? Then consult the certified nutritionist who can guide you accordingly.
So it's not right when it is said when it is said like after 30s you should have this all supplement.
No. It is not
depends,
suggested. It depends person to person.
So now we had already talked about the first cycle, then pre-pregnancy, post-pregnancy, then lactation problem, then of course weight loss, and so now let's move to menopause. So at what age during what age women tends to have their menopause? Does it depend on like their genetic or their lifestyle, or does it differ from like woman to woman?
Normally it differs from woman to woman. So there is no particular set age wherein the menopause is attained. But to get an idea whether a woman is having hormonal imbalances, or whether she's in the perimenopausal stage, or whether she's actually attained menopause, we look at the woman's mother's age of menopause. That gives us an idea. So it could not apply in all cases, but in many of the cases it so happens that the mother and the daughter attain menopause around the same age. A couple of years this side or that side, it can differ. Again, depends on whether your lifestyle and your eating habits are better than hers or worse than hers. So that difference would be there. But there is a period of perimenopause which occurs before there is cessation of periods. That can be anywhere from 3 to 7 years. Sometimes 3 to people have certain symptoms like difference in the extent of flow, difference in the PMS, difference in mood swings, and the duration of the cycles also differs for many of them. So it could be either shorter periods or longer periods, and though nothing else has changed.
So is it around after 45? We can tell
Usually,
roughly?
yes. Most of the cases are above 45. And if it is before then, we will try to analyze and see if there were any drastic changes that they have made with regard to lifestyle or to diet, which has affected their periods. Otherwise, yes, around 45, 48 is what we are looking at in the beginning of perimenopausal.
During menopause, some of the problems are very common, like knee pain, back pain. So, what all foods we can focus on to improve these kind of pains?
So, generally, we would suggest that consult a nutritionist, because they will be able to identify what is lacking in your diet. It is, you have to just make sure that you are getting all your necessary vitamins and minerals and your macros also in the proportions that your body needs. Many people would have followed the same routine for years together, and they wouldn't have changed anything during menopause. But they'll realize that during menopause, their metabolism would have slowed down a little bit, and their monthly flow is very different. Their mood swings are a little more extreme, in which case a nutritionist will be able to assist and guide you as to what you need to increase or decrease, and what you need to change with regard to your routine and your lifestyle habits. Usually we advise clients to include good fats, a variety of good fats as much as possible during this stage, especially if you're talking about good quality protein, nuts and seeds in a good form, and cut down a little bit on processed foods, especially if you have gotten away all these years eating regularly your processed and junk food. Now is the time your body is saying that you will need to make the change.
So what are the type of exercises we should include in our lifestyle, during this menopause time?
Try to keep it as a combination as much as possible between cardio and strength training both. During this time, it is necessary that you work under a trainer as much as possible, because they will be able to guide you accordingly. A common problem that many people have during menopause is insomnia. Inability to get deep sleep, and they tend to stay awake for very long hours during the night. So in that case, we suggest that they do their exercise routine as much as possible in the morning, first half of the day, as against the second half of the day, because with the compromised sleep condition, when they exercise too late into the night, they might compromise their quality of sleep, which in turn will affect their hormones. So, number one, get a trainer. If you are starting off your exercises, if you're somebody who's familiar with exercise, you've always been exercising, continue with the same. Increase the component of strength training, it would help you, and concentrate on your diet.
So now, as we are talk about each and every step of woman life cycle,
Yes.
from first cycle till menopause. But now I have some of the questions from our listeners. So, according to you, what do you think? We as a mother, because we are also a mother, proud mother, so we take care of our health in a better way, or our mother, they are taking care of their health? We are better or they are better? What do you think?
I think there are a lot of factors in this. I think it's very person specific. You would have met many of your aunts and your uncles, and your own mother you would have had for reference, wherein you see that some of them are disciplined.
Right.
They eat at the right time, irrespective of whether they are there in their own house or in a relative's house, they are at a wedding or whatever. It does not make a difference. They're always eating at the window, and they do not overeat. They do not overindulge, and they maintain a kind of a routine, healthy routine. Now, is it applicable to a previous generation or this generation? I think we have people on both the sides.
Right.
That is there. One thing about the previous generation, which I would say, is that they did not have Swiggy. They did not have the ready to, it was, their food was predominantly what was prepared at home, that they used to eat. For us, you do not like what you prepared at home, then just 10 minutes later you can order something. So the concept of fast food arriving very fast to your house has made it very difficult for people to have balanced, healthy meals. After all, a restaurant would take care that they try to make the food as tasty as possible. Very few restaurants would try to make that extra effort to make it healthy and tasty. So I think that is where we are at right now.
So I think your answer is very smart, no fight. We are better or you are better.
Both of us.
Very smart answer. So what do you think? From what age women should start, a regular health checkup? And if you can tell us what are they, and what are the top screening actually, and how regular they should go to the doctor?
So to start off, one complete health checkup would help, because that would give us an indication as to what is the health status of the person in question. After that, if you come to know that they are somebody who's anemic, especially if they are in the menstruating age still, in which case regular screenings would be required to make sure that they do not have very low iron stores, because with every period they are losing blood, which makes the iron levels drop. Now, the problem with this particular medical parameter is that when the iron levels are very low, hemoglobin is very low, ferritin is something that we regularly ask women who are prone to anemia to get checked. They will have fainting episodes. Now, it's a very dangerous situation. If many of the women, they either going to school, college, they're going to work, and if you're having these kind of fainting episodes or blackouts, then you have to take it up seriously and visit a doctor, a hematologist preferably, and try to assess what is the causative issue. Now, the regular screenings which we advise is your B12, vitamin D3. Most of the people are deficient in that. Your hemoglobin, of course, and if somebody is regularly showing signs of inflammation, then the inflammatory markers which are monitored. If there is a family history of cancer, wherein from the maternal side, the mother or the aunts have a history of they have passed away from cancer, then a cancer screening is what is advised regularly for in the hospitals now. So I think we have got.
Is there any particular age like every woman should consider, like, after 40s I should go for this these are the top screening I have to go after 40s, and every year I have to go?
Once you after 40, try a gynecological visit will give you more clarity, because the doctor will be able to tell you how much of a risk it is for you. So I think that would put things into perspective, and they'll be able to guide you whether you need to get it done once a year or once in 4-5 years would be sufficient. If you're healthy, you do not have medical parameters which are out of range, then yearly screening might not be required. So everything is depending on the doctor's advice.
So thank you so much, Smita, for sharing your expertise and insight on women nutrition in each stage of women's life. Thank you so much.
It was a pleasure, Shifa. It was an absolute pleasure to be here. And as for the women out there, I would like to tell them only one thing. There's diet, there's lifestyle, there's everything else. But one thing I would keep as top priority is self-care. You cannot pour from an empty cup. So as much as possible, give at least 10 minutes of your time for self-care. It is important. A happy, healthy woman leads to a happy, healthy family.
Thank you, listeners, for joining me. And if you have any questions or if you think of any of the topic we should cover on in the future episode, so let us know in the comment box and subscribe for this insightful episode like this, and share it with the one about whom you care. And until next time, I'm your host, Shifa, signing off.